Hello everyone, you're welcome to another edition of Eye on Port, the program that has been specifically designed to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL, PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, the Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Eye on Port is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, the Regional Maritime University, formerly known as the Ghana Nautical College, turns 65 this year, and there's been a lineup of activities for this celebration, some of which we've been showing you over the course of the year. We also found out that the Koreans want to help the school with $146 million grants for its modernization project, which includes the acquisition of a training vessel, something which the school has been crying for so many years. This week, we found out more about this particular modernization project and what we should expect from it, from the leadership of the school. Take a listen.
When in earnest, how soon, because I'm excited about this, how soon do we expect you to kickstart once everything is done by government?
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, you can't really execute anything without paying for the sources that you might have engaged in doing whatever you wanted to do. So far as I know, during the COVID moments,
Yes.
some meetings were done via Zoom with our Korean partners.
Right.
And somewhere in the latter part of 2021, they came in physically to Ghana
Right.
for an engagement. And in 2022, we signed a framework of agreement. So it means that there is that commitment that in the interest
Yes.
by both governments to engage.
Right.
It's something like that. Actually, the only hurdle that, for me, I think that some expedited action would have to be taken is that cabinet would have to approve all of this. And then, of course, like with every loan, it would have to go to Parliament. Once the approval is done, then we can start. So for me, I'm looking at probably the beginning of 2024.
Okay.
Or mid-2024, where things would be on site.
All right. So tell us, what will the scope of works be for this particular project once it kickstarts? He indicated it's going to last for like 5 years. Yes, when it starts.
It's varied, actually, because we wanted to, like you rightly said, the name of the thing is modernization. So we wanted to be a top-notch, world-class maritime university and addressing the needs of technological advances that are emanating from the domain in which we find ourselves. So the very first that came up was a training vessel, which was going to cost something like $47 million.
And that has been a long-standing one.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember when I was
That's captured in this particular project,
exactly.
modernization project. Okay.
When I was a cadet, our dream was that we could have a training vessel.
Yes.
Initially, Black Star Line had a training vessel, Nakwa River, if you
Right.
do a little bit of research. But as you know, the shipping line fizzled out, so now we don't really have any training vessel as it is. Because a training vessel is supposed to mimic what's exactly happening ashore.
Right.
Where you're going to have classrooms, and then you're going to have a dummy bridge and a dummy engine room, so both things could be done together. And there wouldn't be any interruptions with the main systems that are operating on board.
Yeah.
The training ship, of course, is not refurbished or something that existed, but it's going to be constructed from the scratch.
Right.
And so there's something that is going to come in there from the Koreans also, because the shipyard is going to be from Samsung in Korea. So there's a win-win there. They are also going to gain something because, of course, they will have employment, people working on it. And I know it's going to take 120 cadets.
Right.
Worth.
That's the vessel.
The vessel.
Okay.
And it would also have, aside its complement of crew, where you're going to have training from engineers and navigators. We are also tinkering with the idea that we would make it operate like mercy ships, where the old seafarers could sort of want to come on board and help,
Yes.
with tuition and
Help
stuff.
tutor, mentor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that it also would enhance your, kind of outlook that you have. We also are going to have 2 fast rescue boats. Okay. We're also going to have 2 big buses for transportation, and then 10 SUV units. We're going to have simulators also, but of course it's going to be varied. Some are going to be full mission simulators, both for bridge and engine room. And then we're going to have a simulation center where all these equipments will be housed. I think it's a 4-story building or something like that, where all of these simulators will be housed. Then we'll have lecture theaters, because the vision is that when this thing happens, it's going to open up the gates for more intake. So we're going to have more students applying. And then, of course, we would need space to accommodate everybody. So they're building up, and that's not to say that we don't really have lecture halls, but of course, these new ones, these lecture theaters are going to be state of the art, taking into consideration all the technological innovations that are in at the moment.
Right.
And the capacity also, the seating capacity is quite large, 1,800, I think. Then we will have a new vice chancellor's residence. We'll have staff accommodation. We'll have a sick bay. We'll have a sports complex. We'll have a graduate school, a brand new graduate school.
Right.
We'll have a fishing gear workshop. Very, very important. Fishing gear workshop. We'll have the water supply also looked at. There would be a reservoir and then also an underground tank. Then there's going to be a service unit for the transportation department where they will have the ability to service their own equipments and cars and trucks and stuff.
Right.
And also there's going to be dualization of the main road that leads into the school. There's going to be a roundabout created. There's also going to be a widening of the bridge that is from the main gate, the Tema Road gate.
Yes.
It's going to widen. The gate is going to be changed. There'll be a new arc put there. So it's a very, very thorough thing that's been looked at, and
Right.
it's going to change the face of the school.
Awesome.
So for me, it's a very flexible loan. The interest is very minimal. We don't even want to talk about it. And then also the time frame or the stretch of time that you would want to make the payment is over 40 years. So, and I believe it's like so because of the educational part in it. Actually, we are not. It's like a non-profit, we're doing it to help humanity, to educate, build capacity and stuff. So those were some of the things that were factored in to make it, so minimal and very, very, very attractive. So it's a good deal, and I'm also excited that the government of Ghana is gotten into it and is poised and also determined that it will see this project come through.
My question to you before you come in is that he has listed a litany or gamut of projects under this particular project that you're going to undertake. And I just want to find out from you, I know you undertook some feasibility studies as far as this whole project is concerned. If you wouldn't mind sharing with us some of the findings of this particular feasibility study that you conducted.
Actually, what came out was the need for a modern infrastructure in order to increase enrollment.
Right.
Without infrastructure, we cannot increase the enrollment.
What's the current number or current population of the school?
It's about
Close to about 1,800.
about 1,800.
1,800.
Yeah.
For both undergrad and graduate.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about 1,800. And looking at the facilities and classrooms at the moment, it's inadequate. And with the emerging trend or the current STCW convention, other countries or some developed countries such as Poland are having the academic way of training the future mariners, of which when you take the Netherlands, they are going the vocational way. But with the modern trends now, we need to integrate the two, academically and vocational, which the UK system is practicing now, of which we just started as well. So in this case, more of our children, more of our brothers who are from the JSS, who are from the SSS, who are taking vocational, can equally end up at the top with this new system. And by doing that, you'll be increasing enrollment. And we really need that infrastructure for that enrollment.
Yeah. So let's dwell a little more on the training vessel that you mentioned that would be coming in. I just want to find out from you how this would affect or impact the training of students at the RMU.
Right.
Because, like I said, it's been a long-standing one. Several years ago, we started talking about this.
Yes.
And like he said, when they were cadets, or was it you who said when you were cadets, you were looking forward to?
Yes,
we
were all cadets.
Exactly. And it never happened.
And I remember those days in the Ministry of Transport, may he so rest in peace, Mr. Afari.
Right.
I used to ask him, say, when are we getting the training ship? He would tell me, oh, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. Until I left the school to find my way somewhere.
Yes.
And then gladly I'm back.
Yes.
Actually, the training vessel is a key component of the training of seafarers when it comes to the STCW convention.
Right.
And even to become an officer of the watch, both engine and navigation.
Right.
And therefore, from level 100 to 400, in the STCW training component for engineers and deck officers, you need a certain amount of sea time,
Right.
which, should the training vessel be available, they will be on board this training vessel, and then they can offset that amount of time that they spend on that training vessel,
Right.
in addition to what will be required after graduating. And as a result, will really fast track the period that they become competent officers.
Okay.
So instead of the 12-month period that they will be going on ships after 4 years in school, this will be limited if they've got some of the training already on board whilst they are in school. So it's going to bridge the waiting time
Yes.
that they stay at home, or the waiting time that they have to wait for Bernard Schultz, Hafnia, Danos, and other European companies to engage them to do their sea service or to have their sea service, which is 12 months. So this is really going to help. And they will have the exposure as well in terms of the current equipment that is being used by the industry or within the industry. They will be exposed to so many equipment in terms of how they even work, the standards, not after graduating.
So the leadership of the Regional Maritime University is looking forward to this modernization project, which they say would give the school a major facelift. And we are too, and we wish that processes that will lead to the completion of this project would be expedited. Now let us hear a few comments on the subject we have just discussed after we go on break, and then we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned. My name is Florence from Tema. I remember watching an Eye on Port episode earlier this year where your guests from RMU called for a deliberate government policy to export Ghanaian seafarers. With this modernization project, I think it is very opportune for government to turn its head that way. How much is RMU looking at training officers for fishing vessels? Apparently, there aren't any Ghanaian officers on fishing vessels, and it's worrying. This is Fred in Tema here.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima.
Tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back from the break. Now let us pick a few other local stories from our port and maritime industry. Efforts to increase visibility and awareness on issues affecting women in Ghana's maritime industry remain rife. Earlier this week, stakeholders in Ghana's maritime industry, especially in academia, participated in a symposium on the topic Relevance of Women in Maritime Education and Training, Prospects and challenges. Held at the Regional Maritime University, the occasion forms part of the school's 65th anniversary program and coincided with the celebration of the World Maritime Day. The acting Vice-Chancellor of RMU, Dr. Jethro Brooks Jr. said, in response to the gender disparity that exists in the maritime industry, the Regional Maritime University has embarked on deliberate scholarship programs that encourage females to take up training at the school. He encouraged females in the region to take up seafaring careers.
We are pleased to report that last semester we proudly admitted 3 female students, and I am told by the committee that this semester about 10 female students have been processed for that scholarship program. This transformation can be driven by students who are passionate about pursuing careers in the maritime sector and by parents who encourage their daughters to venture into the realm of blue-collar jobs.
The president of Western Ghana, seasoned academic and chartered shipbroker, Gertrude Ohinie-Sienim, in her keynote address, urged maritime institutions and companies to embrace the call for diversity and inclusion in employment, especially in technical fields.
We have about 1.89 million seafarers serving the world merchant fleet, operating 74,000 vessels around the globe, with just an estimated 24,059 being women, representing just 1.2% of the total STCW certified global workforce. And this report was issued in July 2021. Most of these women are, however, on passenger vessels. Few on the big ones like the FPSOs, the rigs, the construction vessels, tankers, bulk carriers.
A fruitful panel discussion ensued at the symposium where practical gender concerns were addressed.
When you get to a male-dominated job, you go there with your position, not your sex. You go there as that is the level I am. That is it. You don't go there as an individual, as a person. And that is all for almost every job. And I tell young people all the time, if I'm on the ship, I'm a chief officer, that's it. I relate to my colleagues as a chief officer.
Selected female maritime professionals who have distinguished themselves in industry were honored. This includes the General Manager Marketing and Corporate Affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Esther J.B. Donko, for her 3 decades of outstanding service to the organization and country. Esther J.B. Donko was the first female terminal manager in the history of the ports of Ghana, and her success during her tenure as manager of the Golden Jubilee Terminal, Reefer Terminal, and Transit Terminal, and the Port of Tema several industry awards. Since 2017, she served the authority in the role of General Manager in charge of Marketing and Corporate Affairs. One of the most critical and visible achievements of her career was when she was appointed a member of the National Committee for Port Paperless Implementation and the leader of the GPHA team to implement the Vice President's directive on Port Paperless regime, and within a space of 2 months, this was achieved. This feat earned her a popular title as Madam Paperless, as she was seen in the main driving seat for the project. Esther J.B. Donko is also in charge of the GPHA Media Unit Eye on Port, which is the authoritative television current affairs program championing the drive to bring clarity to the public on the happenings of the port and maritime industry, which is monumental to Ghana's economy. A high-level meeting of ministers in charge of trade and finance of the 5 countries on the Abidjan-Lagos corridor, namely Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, is slated for the 3rd to 5th of October in Cotonou, where issues affecting the free movement of goods in transit will take place. Ahead of this meeting, the national president of Borderless Alliance, Ziad Hamoui, has engaged representatives of the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, JAPTU, to table their concerns and first-hand experiences of challenges during transit across the sub-region. The members were particularly aggrieved by events in Niger, which has led to the closure of borders and its trickle-down impact on goods perishing among reported crimes in and around border towns.
The security concerns are worrisome because apparently from the delays, the several weeks of delays, there are armed robbers who are operating within the border communities who are taking advantage of the long delays. Some drivers, as we understand, have left their trucks completely and come back to their respective homes. leaving their trucks alone. And so the bandits within the border communities, so to say, have explored the opportunities and tried to rob the truckers from their essentials, from money at gunpoint. So apparently there are some casualties and some death, which is very regrettable.
They pleaded with the political heads within West Africa to reach an agreement with the leadership of Niger that would ensure the backlog of goods slated for the country would be allowed entry, so millions of dollars could be saved.
It's a matter of roundtable. Even not as core, it will work. They will tell us all Ghanaian trucks, all other West African countries' trucks, everyone should get ready. Maybe on this date. By then, Nigerian has told all their importers and exporters that your cargo is coming on this date. Make sure that from this day to this day you are able to do what? Clear. For all trucks to go back. Then we are done.
The maiden edition of the Rethinking Africa Summit has been held in Accra, Ghana, bringing together youth leaders and critical stakeholders to examine how the benefits of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement can be maximized through policy coordination and cooperation. An initiative of the Africa Youth Union Commission, the consultative summit feeds into the call for inclusive representation of youth interests and concerns for the socio-economic integration of Africa. Executive Director of the AFTA Policy Network, Louis Yao Afo, in his presentation, rehashed the importance of private sector in the realization of the free trade agenda.
I think for the past 6 months, I've not seen a marked action. So, what we need to do is the private sector organize, come together and speak. How do you speak? Cotton Association, Ginger Association. We want to export. Give the government conditions.
A peace and security advisor at the Office of the President of Ghana, Isaac Opokwe-J, explained why economic integration should be pursued in tandem with security.
Whenever I look at AFTA, whenever I hear people talk about AFTA, I get excited, as most of you are today. The money they're talking about is huge. The potentials are endless. But then again, are we investing in the right equity architecture to welcome and receive AFTA?
Country head of the African Youth Union Commission, Joel Parry, told Iron Port that his outfit is keen on ensuring the youth are critically considered in decisions that will in the long run affect the prosperity or otherwise of Africa.
The women and youth protocol, if it's still at ground zero, it means that we are not doing anything. The AFTA will be a failure if youths are not absorbed into the activities of the AFTA. If you look at the geography of Africa, the youths are the majority, over 70%. And if you don't absorb us and let us run with the AFTA will fail.
All right, now let us move on to the global front and pick a few international shipping and maritime related news. NYSC-listed tanker owner and operator Overseas Shipholding Group has unveiled a $30,000 scholarship initiative aimed at removing financial barriers for women entering the maritime industry. The scholarship funds will be used to support the Women Offshore Foundation's 2024 Summer Sea Team Scholarship Program that is designed to help women enrolled at a U.S. Maritime Academy with financial support while they pursue a career on water. More than 2 tons of cocaine were pulled from hiding places aboard the 50,000 deadweight ton bulker Matthew. The total shipment had a conservative value of at least $170 million. Given the size of the bust, the authorities believe that at least part of the shipment was likely headed to other markets after landing in Ireland. According to the Garda National Drugs and Organized Crime Bureau, the high-stake interdiction of the bulker at sea turned out to be the largest drug bust in the history of Ireland. 7 men have been arrested in connection with a drug seizure, and the Irish National Police believes that there was likely an even larger criminal network involved in the onward transport and distribution of the shipment. It's now time for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, and terminologies that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. Today, we'll tell you what the ISPS code stands for. The International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, also known as ISPS Code, is a code agreed between the signatories of the 1974 International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, on minimum security arrangements for ships, ports, and Coast Guard agencies. The code was introduced by the International Maritime Organization (IMO), the overseer of the original SOLAS agreement, in the wake of fears of terrorist attacks on ships and ports after the September 11 terrorist attacks in the United States in 2001. Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Iron Port. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, as well as all our social media handles at Iron Port. Do follow, subscribe, like, share our videos, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.